I think for all of us, most of us in this house are parents and grandparents, and some may be great-grandparents. Thank you. So congratulations, Honorable Prime Minister, for being a great-grandparent. And anything to do with children is always something that's very important for us. So I'd like to, first of all, just like to thank the Ministry and the Minister for continuing this focus on children. I think all governments in the past have held children to be dear. As you have mentioned, they are a gift from God. And it is our job to make sure that they flourish in an environment where they are not abused, that they are not subject to neglect, and they can realize the full potential of their being created. Because we believe that when every child is created, there is a future that is there for that particular child. And that future, as has been explained by the Honourable Minister, in the ideology behind the petals of the Mbua. The Mbua is, well, it's actually from Mbua, it's named after Mbua, the Vanua of the Yalomatua. So I think it's a reflection of, if you are Yalomatua, you will make sure that you look after the children that we have, because the petals has been explained. Mbua and Verata, I don't know which one comes first, but nevertheless, Mr. Speaker, so I'd like to, first of all, I'd just like to say that we have read with great trepidation and horror some of the stories that have been coming out lately about the extent of this violence against children. And it's just not just the sexual violence, it's also a lot of the psychological violence. I think one of the great things that we have been able to do in this country, our traditional notions about how we think about children have evolved. I remember when I was a child, children used to sit or eat later on when we sat down to eat. Nowadays, today, we're beginning to see these values begin to change. If I read about the whole history about how children were treated in the past, they were treated as not very important at all. So over time, it's evolved. But I think, whereas we live today, a lot of the abuses are more subtle. They are more subtle, they are more ingrained into some of the things that we do. So it's incumbent upon us to take this action. And having this frangipani label pins, I've had my grandchildren ask me what it means for. So I've told you something to do with the child violence against children. And I'm hoping, I'm looking forward to all the plans that you have in place, and the call for all the stakeholders to become involved is something that we'll all play our part. From our part of this house, we'll make sure that we do that. Because the children, as we say, are a gift from God to us. We need to make sure, and some of the statistics that the Minister has talked about here are quite shocking. I find it quite shocking. 75% of the abuse was known, sexual perpetrators, or from people that are known by the child, and 70% from family members. I think that kind of thing tells us that the solution is not going to be held just by laws. It will need a multifaceted approach from all of us. And we on this side of the house, we commit to taking this message. And we hope to be there at the launch of that report, the Violence Against Children in Fiji report, and the International Day Against Child Abuse and Neglect. And we look forward to the government to being able to take the next step with the report coming out, the development of the programs, the plans, the policies, the outputs and the targets to make sure that we, in our time, in leading this country, in our time here, that we can reverse this trend that we're seeing. It keeps on going up. I think one of the statistics that the Minister talked about was a 29% increase in case of child abuse. I know sometimes people say that some of these increases is because now people are reporting more of things that are happening in the past. I hope it's just that, but it could be that and also an increase in the propensity of abuse happening. So from our side, Mr. Speaker, sir, we fully appreciate the initiatives for the badge, the frangipani badge, and also the development of the Violence Against Children in Fiji report. We look forward to the programs, and we call upon all stakeholders in this country, the churches, communities, all of us, to join hands and to make sure that we join hands in attacking this scourge, so that during our time, this increase in child abuse reverses, so it plateaus and begins to go down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you.